Manchester United 3, Southampton 0. And what can I say? It was a weird one because the the start of the game was not good. Like, let's be real, innit? Like, Southampton are a poor football team, but they're decent if you let them play. And Man United let them play. The first half an hour was actually... We got cooked, if I'm being completely honest. We got outplayed. We got out-dueled. Like, we got absolutely smoked by Southampton. And they missed a penalty. Do you know what I'm saying? This was a game. I always say that football's a game of momentum anyway. And it's like, we got battered for the first 35 minutes. Onana saves the penalty. And then we go in at half-time 2-0 up. Like, nobody knows how. And this was very much the Manchester United of last season. I didn't see any improvements today on last season other than the fact that we've raised our technical floor. So we've just got better players. The right-hand side with Mazraoui and AMAD looked lively all game. All game. And it was very much just the individuals that really made the difference today. And this is what we've been saying about Manchester United for the last few years. It's individual brilliance. The manager probably coached a loss and we end up winning 3-0. And that's testament to the players we got out there. Christian Eriksen came in for Casemiro. And Christian Eriksen looked pretty lively, to be honest, in terms of in possession technically. Again, he raises the technical floor. When you've got Eriksen, you've got Mazraoui, you got De Ligt, you got Lissandro, you got Kobbie Mainoo, you got a decent technical base there. Kobbie had an absolutely generational stinker, if we're being completely honest, and I don't really blame him, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Kobbie playing in the 6th year suffered for the same things that Casemiro suffered with, yeah, and people were blaming Casemiro for. Well, I've been saying already, yeah, and people say, Rants, you're always making excuses for Cas. It's not about making excuses for Cas, yeah. It's a fact that everyone that plays in that number 6, in that single pivot for Man United, looks awful, bro. And it was Kobbie's turn today. He could have easily been sent off because he was on a yellow card from about 25 minutes in, and somehow he managed to finish the game. I don't know why the manager didn't take him off, because he was being run ragged, and he was probably fortunate not to get a second yellow and get sent off, because there was enough times when he was on a yellow that he gave away fouls and you just thought, you know what, one more, and he's gone. So when you look at the assist that Casemiro, or the key pass that Casemiro played for the 3rd goal, yeah, when he did come on, it will tell you something. Casemiro can pass the ball. Anyone that thinks that Cas can't pass doesn't know football. The problem is Cas receives the ball, yeah, in areas of high pressure with very little options. And he's liable to give the ball away, but so is everyone else. So was Kobbie Mainoo today. The amount of times that Kobbie received the ball today in the first phase and there was no one for him to pass to, and he either got fouled because he managed to use his quick feet to kind of draw a foul, or he lost the ball. There was a time where he literally received the ball in the first phase and he had his foot on the ball and he had his arms out like, yo, like, there's no pass. No defender, no centre-back dropping off to give him a backwards pass. No midfielder in a pivot next to him giving him a sideways pass. And he's having to shield the ball for his life or try and dribble his way out of trouble. But then people want to turn around and blame Casemiro. No matter who plays in that single pivot, they are going to suffer because it's a structural problem in this team. We got away with it today because Southampton were poor and then they ended up having a man sent off. So we are playing against 10 men. But we struggled in the first half, really, to do anything. And the 2 goals that we scored in the first half, yeah, were from dead ball situations. It's not good enough. It's not really good enough. So, as much as I'm happy with the performance, yeah, I can't say that I saw anything in this game that I can say, yeah, we've clearly been working on this, because the press was still disjointed. The press was awful. The press was awful, if we're being honest. The first phase press, before we'd seen like it was a 4-2-4. It wasn't that today. I don't know what it was today. It looked like it could have been a 4-4-2, but it wasn't really a 4-4-2 because the first 2 went, Bruno and ZIRKZEE went, and then once they got beat, the second line didn't go with them. So it was... I'm struggling to tell you what I'm actually seeing in terms of consistent patterns that we can take from one game to the next. I'm struggling to tell you what I'm seeing. So, defensively, structure-wise, I can't say that we've improved. We just got away with it because we played against a bad team today. And even that bad team had us on the ropes. So as much as I want to try and talk about the positives from today, because there were a few, there was way more negatives that I saw. Way more negatives that I saw in terms of the way that the team's been set up. And this is 100% us relying on players to do good things in isolated moments to score. Rashford's goal, he took his goal well. Other than that, he didn't really do anything in the game. When Garnacho came on, he looked a lot more dangerous than Rashford. And he ended up scoring the goal, drifting into the box from a pullback from Dalot. If Rashford was on, he wouldn't have scored that goal because he wouldn't have made that run inside. He wouldn't have. Rashford gets the ball out wide, cuts in and shoots, and that's it. And if he can't do that, then he's offering nothing. Bruno Fernandes is an absolute disgrace of a footballer, bro. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. Stat padded an assist today from a corner, literally floated the ball into De Ligt. But this guy offers nothing between the lines. He runs around like a blue-ass fly but never wins any tackles. He's overrated in terms of his passing because his passing's poor. No press resistance. Guy's hoofing the ball up in the air. And his shooting's rubbish as well, bro. The guy is rubbish. I don't get it. I don't get how this guy managed to con a new deal out of this club when he had 3 years left. I don't understand how he managed to do that. The guy's not a good leader. He's not a good footballer. And he's just not a good example, bro. He leaves the midfield to die, bro. I really feel sorry for anyone that has to play in the midfield with this guy because his midfield defensive duties, he wants no part of it. This guy's out there chasing stats, bro. That when you watch him play, you can see he only wants to be in areas where he can get on the stat sheet. He doesn't want to do nothing else for the football team. He's the most selfish, single-minded footballer I've ever seen in my life. And somehow he keeps playing for us. And the mad thing is, yeah, Sporting started winning shit as soon as they got rid of him. Am I surprised? Not really. Because you can't have a proper cohesive team unit with a player like him in the team, bro, because he's a net negative. Disgraceful performance from him today, but he got an assist, so people will be online sucking him off and making you believe that he was actually useful today. When we made our substitutions, Lissandro ended up going off, Mazraoui ended up going off, Eriksen ended up going off. The technical level of this team plummeted, and then we struggled to really keep the ball. ZIRKZEE absolutely balled out today. Him and AMAD in the pockets were unplayable at times. The way that they actually knit the attack together, different gear. I can't lie. Every attack we have has to have them two in it. It has to have them two in it. I'm just disappointed I never got to see Sancho in there with AMAD and ZIRKZEE. This was the first time them two started together, and you can see that they're going to have a great understanding. And ZIRKZEE just showing that he's just a great all-round footballer, man. The way he was linking the attack, one-touch passes, turning, playing like eye-of-the-needle passes, little layoffs, drifting into the box. And he still, even though he's not that, he doesn't head directly to the goal, he still finds a way to get into dangerous positions to get shots on goal, man. Do you know what I mean? He had one blocked on the line. He sent the keeper the wrong way, actually. I thought it was a worse miss than it was, but when I saw it, he sent Ramsdale the wrong way and the defender, the centre-backs kind of blocked it. And he had one where he was sliding in kind of on the stretch and Ramsdale saved it. I think that was in the first half, but he gets into dangerous positions. He's going to score a lot of goals once United get their act together and start to learn how to actually move the ball and keep a sustained pressure on the opposite team. But I think a lot of the good stuff we done today came from the fact that Southampton were just not very good. I don't think a lot of it has got to do with coaching, because you can very much see the left-hand side with Dalot and Rashford was nowhere near as productive as the right-hand side of AMAD and Mazraoui. So you have to look at the partnerships and you have to look at the technical level of the players. Ugarte came on in the 6th, didn't see too much of him. Had the ball trying to carry it out, got caught in it a couple of times. Because again, no one to pass to. No one to pass to in the first phase. So he's trying to carry the ball out. Ball got nicked from him a couple of times. Similar to how Cass lost the ball against Liverpool. These things are going to happen if the structure doesn't change. Like, no player can play in this single pivot system with no outlet. It's impossible. So instead of blaming individual players, yeah, we actually need to look at the way that this team set up and realize that that is always going to be an issue. And against the better teams, we won't get away with it. Casemiro almost never got on, but because of the injuries, he ends up coming on at centre-back and then ends up playing a great pass for Dalot. Even the way the managers dealt with the Casemiro situation, you can see that Casemiro's not happy. We have to keep an eye on that because I think that's gonna get nasty. I'll be honest, because it's not the first time he's disrespected Cas, man. So I don't know. It's an interesting one because on paper the result looks really, really good, but when you actually break down the performance, this is definitely a game of moments. Do you know what I'm saying? And United not conceding in the first 35 minutes when we were under the cosh, when we definitely deserved to be behind, then ended up going ahead. That changed a lot. And then a red card as well, which kind of made our life a bit easier because even at 2-0, we didn't look home and dry at 2-0. So it's one of them ones where if you remove all context, 3-0 away at Southampton looks like a great result, great performance. But there was definitely elements of that game that was mad shaky and that we need to be careful with. Do you know what I'm saying? So all in all, I'm happy with the result. Do you know what I'm saying? The performance, there's not a lot to be carried away with. Individual performances, I think De Ligt was decent today. He got absolutely put in a NutriBullet by Kyle Walker-Peters at the beginning of the game, but that can happen to anyone. But he was solid enough today. Mazraoui on the ball looked class. Ugarte we didn't see enough of to really make a judgment with the new players. And ZIRKZEE balled, innit? So out of the new players, we're starting to see a lot of the new players now. And they've definitely raised the technical level of the team. And I think that's what got us the victory and what made it look as comfortable as it was, because a lot of times in the game, it was anything but comfortable. So, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. Ten Hag survives another week anyway, but we seriously need to look into the lack of structure and the lack of repetitive actions in the team. I think he overlooked Southampton. He thought that they were going to be rubbish, and that's why he played Kobbie Mainoo in the 6 and Eriksen, which turned out to be awful, but we got away with it, innit? It'll be interesting to see as the weeks go on how long it takes him to actually integrate Ugarte into the team, or if he brings Cas back in, because the Eriksen Mainoo double pivot thing, or Eriksen Mainoo in the 6, Eriksen in the 8, against any half decent team, that is not gonna cut it, innit? So overall, like, decent result, okay performance, but not too much to take from that.